My name's Jo. I'm a clinical psychologist and an EMDR practitioner, and I work with women and birthing people who've had traumatic experiences around birth and pregnancy. So I had heard of EFT, but I didn't know very much about it, and then the opportunity came up to attend the training. I did a small amount of reading before coming on the training, and I was really interested in how the approach could be beneficial, particularly working with people who've experienced trauma. When I first heard about EFT, I did think it sounded like a sort of alternative therapy, really. And coming from my background, I tend to work in quite an evidence-based way. However, the more I read about it and the more I experienced it through attending the training, I realised how powerful the technique is. And there is quite a lot of evidence behind it to support its effectiveness. I think there were two things that surprised me most about the training. Firstly, how versatile EFT is as an approach and the number of different ways that you can use it. You can sort of go down through kind of layers and get to some really deep core issues or memories if that's what you want to do. And secondly, I think using EFT on myself, part of practicing just both within the sessions but also at home, I was really surprised at how much of a difference it's made to me generally in my life in such a short space of time. I've used it sort of for general emotions, kind of how am I feeling right now. But I've also been using persistence, which is a technique where you tap every day on a particular issue that you want to work on, and you don't need to go into too much detail about where it's come from. I found it really interesting that even at that level where you're not digging too deeply, you're just tapping on it for a few minutes every day, insights come up, sort of new changes in thinking, and it helps you to build a picture or understand things in a deeper way. I think there's lots of possible ways that we could incorporate EFT into the work we do in our service. I think as a starting point, certainly using it as a kind of grounding and coping technique for our clients to use for themselves, maybe coping with anxiety or physical discomfort. I think that could be really helpful as a self-help tool. And we're hoping to incorporate it into some of our groups as well, so that we can all tap together and they can borrow benefits from each other. I've really enjoyed the training. I think Tamara and Peter are very knowledgeable, experienced, but also really warm and human, and I think that's really made a difference. Sometimes you can go to a training and you can sit all day and listen to lots of information and feel a bit overloaded and a bit tired by the end of it. But it hasn't been like that at all. I think using the tapping together as a group as well has been really containing, and I really miss it now we've got to the end of level 2. So to anyone else who's thinking of coming on the training, I would say to just be really open-minded, come along, and I hope that you will find it as beneficial as I have.